First tonight to a big decision coming down from the Florida Supreme Court.
Yeah, it's a ruling against Marsy's law, a Florida law that was meant to protect the victims of crimes from their identities being released.
Our Mary O'Connell joins us now in the studio with what the court decided and how this all stems from a case involving protecting the identities of police officers who claim they were a victim of a crime, right?
That's right. It's coming out of two separate incidents in Tallahassee back in 2020 where local police responded to threats against their lives by shooting and killing the alleged assailants. The Florida Police Benevolent Association then looked to stop Tallahassee from releasing the names of the officers involved due to concerns for their safety. They argued they were victims under Marsy's law and were entitled to anonymity. In a ruling released today, Florida's High Court said they had been asked three questions, one being, does Marsy's law contain a right for victims to remain anonymous? The court answered saying, quote, Marsy's law guarantees to no victim, police officer, or otherwise the categorical right to withhold his or her name from disclosure. We caught up with ABC Action News legal analyst Jeff Swartz to get his take on the ruling.
When they were talking about Marsy's law, victims' rights and interests are respected and protected by the law in a manner no different than the rights that are extended to a defendant. And I think that's important to look at, because then you have to look at the rights that are spelled out for defendants in Section 16 of Article 1 of the Florida Constitution, and it is very, very expansive. So they're giving expansive rights to victims, but with it comes the exposure.
We received this statement from a spokesperson for Marsy's Law for Florida, which reads, quote, while Marsy's Law for Florida has been clear on its position regarding the release of names of on-duty law enforcement officers who have used physical force, the Florida Supreme Court's ruling that this be applied very generally to all crime victims is disappointing, especially as they recognize in this same ruling that certain categories of victims have the right to prevent the public disclosure of their names. The statement went on to say the Supreme Court has, quote, removed a right which Florida crime victims have been using for nearly 5 years and have been relying on this protection for their own safety. The ruling today noted that a grand jury investigated each shooting and found that in each case the shooting was lawful and a justifiable use of force.